Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale.
Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating Zero, the latest and greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined as always by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hello, I'm Brian, and I play Hector the Gatekeeper.
Hey, I'm Beth, and I play Brillo Longshadow.
Hey guys, I'm Alex, and I play Ruger Firehide.
And last but not least,
Guest star.
Brian. What was that? How fucking dare you for one
star.
thing? Guest star.
I left that up to the fans' imagination about where I am in the casting role.
Recurring.
This intro is just off the fucking rails, and I'm sick to my stomach over it. I can't believe this shit.
I can't work in these conditions.
God damn it. And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker. Michael Parker playing the druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
I kind of don't want to now.
I know, right? Like, the sort of the air's been taken out of it. They stepped all over your special particular intro, which I think is the only reason anyone listens to this program in the first place, right?
Yep.
I mean, clearly I'm the fan favorite.
Absolutely, you're the fan favorite. You're the fan's favorite and the DM's least favorite, and that's a great tension.
It's a good balance.
It's a great tension between the creative force behind the show and the audience. Because,
Tension is palpable.
But
Our poor audience.
I'm not sure I'm enjoying this tiki bar setup Alex put us in.
I stopped it.
I mean, Brian looks like the Grim Reaper. It's just all shadows.
to let the listeners
You have to
in on what's
individually
going on, Alex,
change.
everyone shut up. To let the listeners in on what's going on, we use Skype when we make the show. And Alex got the beta of Skype, which is, fun, I guess. They're just throwing new product shit at him. And so he has put
Tiki Party.
a special setting on where it looks like during the call we're all sitting at a tiki bar. The problem is Alex has not stopped sharing his screen, so my Skype window is just us all sitting at a tiki bar, which is delightful.
No, so what that is Alex put us in like a joined whatever. We all have to individually exit out of that.
Yep.
Alex has already
100%.
exited out of that on his own, but it doesn't do that for...
And
You
I
have to
stopped
go
sharing
into
my
view.
screen a long time ago.
You have to personally go into view and switch it back to grid view.
Yep.
It's just ripping off Microsoft Teams because Skype is pissed. No one uses them anymore, right?
Because Skype's
So true.
garbage.
We use Skype, and that's all that matters.
This is not an endorsement of Skype by any means, but that's just this is how we
The
do it.
ratios are weird because we're all like hovering halfway up the bar, but we're too big.
I was trying to find a wedding setting, but believe it or not, Skype didn't have one of those. So I went with Tiki Bar. There weren't a lot of great options. The celebration one had a ton of balloons. It felt weird.
I
To Alex's point.
liked the Tiki Bar. I was happy
To Alex's point, today is a special episode. We have a wedding today. When last we left our heroes, Hector, Rilla Zurabak, and the lawman Ruger Firehide were gallivanting about the sprawling metropolis of Everspring in preparation for a wedding. Specifically, the day of matrimony between Ruger's ex-wife Shira and the mysterious spellcaster known as the Diviner, both of whom live here in Everspring. The party was invited to work security for this little soiree,
Sorry.
as the powerful spellcaster getting married to Ruger's ex has sworn that they will not use their considerable divination abilities during the ceremony. Their full attention put on the special day, and so our protagonists have been tasked with making sure everything stays chill. In our last episode, our heroes picked up their custom designer outfits, crafted by Charissa Lamstrand, the greatest fashion designer in all of Meosha. They did a little bit of shopping at Evan's Emporium, newly brought into town from the city of Pickers Run on the edge of the Badlands. And Zurabak spent his time surprisingly leaving the shelter of the cafeteria inside the College of Everspring to go stalk some locals. He picked out a thin, sickly-looking dwarven trader named Thaddeus and just sort of terrorized him for a solid week, eventually stalking this poor man all the way to the courtyard before the diviner's tall tower, where the wedding is currently being set up. When last we left Zurabak, he was sipping champagne brought to him by a servant on a silver tray while staring daggers at his mark, Thaddeus, across the sprawling crowd of vendors, servants, and guests who are milling about before the festivities actually start. And Ruger, Rilla, and Hector had decided to pop in to the college's bathhouse real quick before to freshen up and scrub down and have a little chat before they don their designer outfits and go swagger into these nuptials. So we'll start with you three. You are in the bathhouse of the College of Everspring.
I have already taken the time to move the dividers so that we just all can see each other and talk to each other.
Absolutely.
I did not consult the others before moving the dividers.
As tradition states, you are all in your bespoke wash basins, and the screens between the three of them have all been removed, allowing you all the ability to chat. Yeah, you're sudsing up. The air is full of the steam from the hot water you're all chilling in. And what's up?
And so when he says, is there any reason why these two should not, what are you going to run up and say
Well,
when it's your cue?
Hector, buddy, no, we're not doing any of that. No shenanigans, Hector.
I could throw
Rilla,
you.
that goes at least double it for you. No shenanigans, no objections, no impersonating the priest or preacher. And I look Rilla dead in her cold black eyes.
I'll just go right to being you, and I'll man up in the way you clearly can't manage.
Oh my!
And I'll stop the wedding.
You've just
got it.
Rilla.
Holy shit.
I just had a nightmare.
There has never been a more perfectly crafted opportunity to fucking ruin someone's whole life.
Wow,
I'm nervous now. Now I'm scared.
Yeah. Okay. I think Ruger's taken a little bit aback by that comment from like, you just opened a whole other door. I was worried about you impersonating the preacher. Now I'm greatly concerned.
As you should be.
What if we stage an attack on the wedding and then you save your ex-wife
No.
from a monster played by Rilla?
Well, okay.
No, he needs
sure.
to save the diviner, steal her woman.
Y'all agree it's
Ooh,
weird.
that's good.
No, none of that's good. But y'all agree it's weird that the diviner doesn't have a name, right? Isn't that strange? That's strange.
You didn't think
right?
the eyeballs were strange?
Okay, well,
'Cause that's
that's
where I'm more
strange,
focused.
but I'm coming from a place of I'm trying to be open-minded, Rilla, but it's strange, right?
I mean, yes, people with names like the verb are less than people.
Wow. Okay, I feel like we're going places tonight, and it's early. But it's weird, right?
That
So
way,
does your wife call her like Divvy? Or like,
Okay,
how
she's
does
not
that
my
work?
wife. Let's be Rilla. Let's clear the air there, right? It's about to be the diviner's wife.
So you did get divorced, or did you just leave?
It's record keeping in Everspring. It's who's to say really? It's all word of mouth, right?
Wait, how does that work?
Show me a divorce certificate.
Wait, no.
I
wait.
challenge you.
Okay, but actually,
Well, Hector, you see,
how does the bind of marriage work, and how does divorce work?
well, when two souls love each other very much, they have a ritual where they.
I'm talking about the legal.
No, yeah, I don't understand. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a lawman.
You just like scream, "I divorce you" in front of like witnesses? Is it a ceremony like a wedding,
Yes.
but sad?
I think you got this thing going on with birds.
As much as I enjoy this line of dialogue, you all, having lived your entire lives in a world without any written language, all have a pretty good idea that like contracts like this are verbal, and a proclamation is made during a ritual in front of a group of people, the ritual being different for every place and type of people, and then you're just married. And when you're don't want to be married anymore, you just kind of stop being married. That's sort of how that all goes. There's not like
She left his shoes outside the door.
There's no way to like. There's a loophole that they never actually got divorced that we can use for the plot. We can't.
No.
That's not like an
None of
available
that.
thread to us.
No loopholes.
by that same logic, Brian, they never actually got married. So,
you
you know.
And who's to say? Record keeping in Everspring. Who's to say? I don't know. Were you there? I don't know.
I don't know. There might be like a painting from the day that talks and says all this stuff.
I hope to God there's not. But, I wouldn't put it past the bards. I really wouldn't. Just the same as I wouldn't put it past Rilla.
Rilla has all 4 birds in the bathtub with her.
No, this is a problem. This is the shenanigans that Ruger Firehide was referring to earlier when I said none of that. And you're talking cat too. Are you bringing the cat? Does the cat have a dress and or tuxedo?
Rutherford does not need them. He's beautiful.
It's a formal affair, Rilla. I thought, with all your time with Madame Lamstrand, I thought you might have,
I'll get him a bow tie. It's fine.
So is there anything specific y'all wanted to chat about while you have the relative piece?
Yeah, actually, I have a really important question for Rilla. Rilla, so if you transform into someone that you saw on the street, is the genitalia going to be accurate?
Oh, God, no. 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 I look at both of the teenagers and I say, no. Now, what we should be talking about is what we're going to do at this wedding. And by that I mean, what are we drinking, right? Are we doing like sangrias or like, Cosmos?
I bought a bunch of kegs.
Okay, let's get serious for a second. Ruger, you want us to come.
You guys are security.
You originally asked us to come as emotional support, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, the security is a bullshit thing that the diviner asked for.
Yeah, it's
like
real
whatever.
strange.
I'm not getting paid. I don't care.
I'm not getting paid either. Then again, y'all don't pay me, so.
You get a cut when we get paid by a job.
Yep, that's
Yeah, you
right.
get a cut. That's more than the diviner's offering. So I'm not going to do any security for her unless some cash happens.
That's an interesting point, Rilla, and I do not begrudge you it. Just please don't become a security problem. And I look skeptically at her flock of birds.
Your cockatoos just sound off as they sit on the edge of your tub.
Good
Look,
stuff.
man, this is my traditional wedding gift, okay?
It's beautiful.
I'm being respectful.
Yeah, no, I got
They're
some
traditional
dresses.
elven wedding birds. We've talked about this last time.
Yeah. And I bought some lovely dresses for the brides to be, or brides that are, or
Well, we bought
Whatever.
vouchers, but yeah.
yeah, just, well, bride, you understand. It's all the same.
I mean, like, I'm just saying, what's our goal here? Like, are you just trying to look classy and walk in with
okay.
your 2 dates
Guys.
and, like,
I'm assuming that this is going to be a highfalutin affair, right? I'm assuming that, this is the diviner, and Shira's been at the Bardic College on and off for older than I'd like to admit. So I'm expecting perhaps some high collar company tonight. So really, all Ruger Firehide is hoping to do is just show up, maybe have a drink or two, wish my ex the best of luck on her newest of endeavors, and perhaps not piss off some unnamed woman named the Diviner, who we may or may not vaguely need for our coming quest, which is what I feel like we should be talking about. Maybe, what's next after this wedding, and what we're gonna do about all that.
Well, Ruger, there's certainly a lot to discuss about our quest moving forward and all of that shit with the stricken in our dreams.
Yeah.
And that. But today is your ex-wife's wedding, and so I thought maybe, we could just be silly and have fun.
All right.
For today.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea, Hector. My only point then is keep in mind that tomorrow's quest is coming, and we might need the Diviner for it. So maybe
I will try not to kill your ex-wife's fiance at her own wedding.
Definitely, unless you have to. And if you have to, I'd love for an explanation beforehand. Convince me.
I will do my best to provide a thorough explanation as soon as possible if it comes to the event that I have to kill your ex-wife's fiance at her own wedding.
This is getting complicated when really I just want to be sipping an appletini and, keeping my eye out.
I promise to clean your wife's dress should Hector brutally murder her new wife.
This is getting way out of hand. Okay.
With these solemn vows from your companions, you all finish up your lovely lounging time in the baths and head to your individual rooms to don your designer outfits, your Lambstrand originals. Hector has a lovely vest and pants. The vest has a deep V and is lined with cheetah fur, with stripes of cheetah fur going down the legs and fur-lined boots. He looks fast as fuck. Rilla puts on her black cocktail dress with a lovely train and high collar made out of black peacock feathers with small onyx stones set into the eyes. An absolutely eye-popping and graceful garment. There is, of course, as you requested, a small matching one for Rutherford.
He's got a rough collar. Perfect.
Yes.
Peacocky thing. Yes.
He's got a collar with a bow tie. He's got a black collar with a bow tie, also made out of peacock feathers with small onyx stones in it. You match beautifully. It's amazing. And Ruger, lastly but not leastly, you put on maybe without a doubt, the fanciest clothes you've ever worn. Gorgeous 3-piece suit with a long coat. The deepest midnight black silk, all trimmed and lined with gorgeous gleaming white satin. The edges on your lapels and your boots and the band of your hat all gleaming in contrast to the darkness. And you all look sharp as hell in the finest clothes you've ever worn, and you head out to this wedding. Now, Zurabak, you are already at the wedding. You are standing in a massive courtyard that is arrayed in front of the incredibly tall, spindly tower that the diviner calls home. A broad stone staircase leads up to the wide double doors at the base of this tower, and it seems like that is where the wedding will be taking place. There's a small white wicker archway covered in vines that has been set up. Seems like that's the place where the actual brides-to-be are going to be standing, and arrayed at the bottom of the steps are rows upon rows upon rows of chairs being set up, and the whole affair is flanked on two sides with endless tables of buffet food. There are there is a small army of servants with black pants and white coats moving around with a dizzying array of aperitifs and amuse-bouches on, or is it amuse-bouche? Is that what's the plural on that? Amuses bouche on
No idea.
Amuse boucher. It's probably a murder of bouche.
a council of bouches arrayed on silver trays swirls around you, and Thaddeus, this dwarven merchant that you followed here, is still chatting nervously with a group of what looks like other weak, pitiful, meaningless merchants, men and women that deal with money and objects and live, just meaningless lives. Are chatting. He keeps looking over his shoulder at you nervously. Several, lines of sweat dripping down his forehead, and you can see this guy's got, even through his suit, like massive pit stains growing just from the sheer terror. And you notice there is one gentleman in particular that walks up to him, shares a few short words, and Thaddeus gets even more frightened at this gentleman that walks up to him. He seems like a human seems to be about 50 years old if he cared about such things. He is broad-shouldered with a very thick neck, and he has a scar down the side of his face that touches the corner of his left eye. This scar-faced man has a few words with Thaddeus, and Thaddeus looks fucking terrified at his presence. He nods his head emphatically and sweats even more, and then the man with the scar on his face moves off and sort of disappears into the swirling crowd. What are you doing at this party?
Oh, sampling the finest of food and champagne, and always staying in his line of sight. Like, occasionally moving around, so he'll see me out of the corner of his eye.
Fantastic. As you have not appropriated a designer outfit for this occasion, it is always easy to pick you out because in your ratty, stained, stiff with just crud black vest and pants and your top hat, you cut a strangely formal but still disgusting figure, and the stink lines coming off of you guarantee that no matter how pressed the crowd, how busy the serving staff, no one comes within 5 feet of you if they can fucking help it. So there's a lovely ring of empty space around you as you move around this party, people giving you the side eye. You do recognize among the guests a couple students from the college that seem to have been able to get free and come here. They're wearing, like suits and dresses that their parents probably bought them. And when you walk past them, they all look at each other like, how many fucking toothpicks do you think he's going to eat? Oh my God, fuck, I didn't think they're going to let Zerback come here. Holy shit. And they start like trading gold pieces back and forth, placing bets. But you notice this exchange and not much else. The food here is fucking incredible. It's not the quantity you would like, but the small bits of food on, toothpicks and things like that moving around are fucking delectable. It's top flight appetizers. There's, bacon wrapped dates and, little, I don't know what fancy food is, like brie with apples on crackers. Is that a thing? People eat, sure. There's that. There's all kinds of good stuff. And after you've been there for about an hour, you see past the sweating and incredibly terrified Thaddeus, your 3 companions arrive at this wedding. Hector, Rilla, and Ruger, you all...
Just before we round that last corner, I heave this like deep, dramatic sigh, like the deepest, and then I subtly alter myself to look older.
Okay, how old do you make yourself look? Relative to humans, like middle-aged or what?
I'm gonna say like 30-ish.
Okay, all right. So yeah, you put a couple tasteful crow's feet up there.
think I just take away a little baby fat is what happens.
So yeah, heaving a sigh and knowing the situation you're walking into, yeah, you take some steps to alter self
and then
make
I like
yourself-
slightly elevate my curves just a little bit, like there.
Surprisingly enough, there is exactly as much room in this dress as is needed. You wonder if maybe Charissa Lamstrand predicted this happening and made the dress accordingly, because it fits perfectly now. You thought it fit perfect before, but now it fits perfectly. And yeah, you guys round the corner and you see this dazzling display. The theme of this wedding seems to be roses in bloom. Stretched out everywhere is a lovely array of blue and white roses in these elaborate bouquets and standing displays. The bunting on all the buffet tables and the lovely vine-covered archway at the top of the stairs in front of the tower are all just covered with these beautiful blue and white roses, and there's lengths of blue and white silk and velvet arrayed everywhere on the chairs being set up on the central aisle that you assume the bride will be walking down. And there's also an enormous crowd of nobles, merchants, some students and staff from the college that you recognize, and just a fucking army of servants. There's just shit tons of people in these black pants and white coats with serving trays moving around. And as soon as you get into the courtyard... Oh, go ahead.
I motion to one of the servers and indicate to the pallet of kegs of beer that I have brought with me.
That's right. Last time you bought an entire pallet of beer kegs to bring to this party. What do you say?
I have brought a gift for the wedding. Please make sure that this is all seen to the bar so they can serve the good stuff tonight.
I have a bird. What do you call that? A bird cage in each hand, and I just swing them around and hand them to the first waiter I see. Presents for the bride.
Okay, great. This is great. This is exactly what I needed today. I'll take these birds and the beer.
I flip a gold coin to the servant that I talk to. Is what I do.
Well, sir, can you also take these coupons? I guess if you could just pass these coupons off. Is there a gift table? I guess is a better question.
There is a massive gift table, which he's after looking at that gold coin, this like sort of older half-elf man with like graying hair at the temples looks at the coin in his palm with wide eyes. You see he looks like he's gonna try to bite it to see if it's real, but then he looks at all your clothes and he just nods his head emphatically and stuffs the gold coin in his pocket. And then, yeah, he takes the pallet, he stacks the fucking bird cages and the coupons on top of it. He's like, right away, folks, no problem. And he shuffles along, depositing the gifts on the gift table and takes the kegs behind the bar. Remind me, Hector, what kind of booze did you buy for this wedding?
I think it was Dwarven Ale.
You bought the finest Dwarven Ale? Yep. From the depths of Grotmire below Ever Spring, Rilla brought the traditional elven wedding birds, a pair of ravens, and a pair of cockatoos, which screamed the entire way to the gift table. And Ruger brought a couple of vouchers for gowns at the Charissa Lamstrand studio. You don't want to say something as reductive as coupons, but it's gift. You bought
they're
two
more
gift
like
cards.
Gift cards than coupons, which is better.
Vouchers?
I like coupons though because it shows that Ruger has no class.
I know.
That's what he calls it.
Yeah, no.
I got you the ability to get your own presents because I don't know. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I tried to get him a dress and I got swerved, so I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, Miss Lamstrand not like that.
Yeah. Ruger, though, would like a drink. So, what do you say,
Sure.
friends, to the bar?
That seems like the best spot to scan for unsavory types.
Zerback's right there. I detected it the moment I walked in.
I was going to say, as
Oh,
you
shit.
guys walk to the bar and Hector says that, you get the familiar whiff of Zuraback's particular musk as he's now made his way to the bar. He's sitting on a bar stool with the most delicate glass of champagne you've ever seen that hasn't shattered in his enormous half-orc fist. And he is staring intently across the party at some guy that none of you have ever seen before. But also sitting at the bar, Ruger, is someone you recognize, Faustin, your son-in-law, the man that was engaged to your daughter. He is wearing a nice suit, nowhere near as nice as the clothes you all have, clean and well cut, but just basic black suit. And he looks at you all and says, "Well, damn, Firehide, I guess you did come into some money. That has got to be just the finest monkey suit I've ever seen off of a mannequin. That's go and give me a turn there, Firehide. Let's get a look at you."
I do a whole pirouette. I just give him a twirl, little sachet.
Ooh,
Oh, I don't think that suit was made out of monkey.
No, says the guy wearing a tiger suit. Is it cheetah? What is that?
Cheetah.
It's cheetah. Okay.
Tigers are stripes, cheetahs are spots.
Yes, yeah.
That's-
No. Trissa knew that Ruger wasn't an animal person.
No,
clearly.
no, definitely not. I just eat them.
Right, no, and that's what I meant by that suit. Like, I'm sure she has a monkey suit, and I'm sure it looks amazing.
Okay.
I don't think monkey was an
Quick
ingredient.
point of order. Faustian, these are my fellow protagonists, Hector, the gatekeeper, and Rilla Longshadow. Protagonists, this is my, what's it called? Son-in-law?
Yep.
This is my son-in-law, Faustian. Pleasures, all of your guys's.
And if you're Hector and you're Rilla, that must make that terrifying man behind y'all Zurabak, is that right?
Yeah, not sure how he got here, but
We try not to look directly at him.
no.
Well, I'm Faustin. It's a pleasure to meet y'all. I'm glad to see the Firehides rolling with the crew again. It's been a long time. I don't think you've run with anybody since, what? You were back in Sandstone? Was that guy's name? Jarmax or something? It's been quite a while.
Let's leave Jarmax where he belongs and pay attention to my drink order, barkeep, please.
Where does Jarmax belong?
Sandstone, where
So
we're
I know
gonna
where to
leave
leave
him,
him.
and for
Oh,
another
okay.
night other than this one. Hector, don't you got monkeys to talk about or something?
You got to understand, a man like Firehide's been a lot of places and met a lot of people. Most of them bad. But anyway, I think I saw some delectable looking dwarven ale back there. That wouldn't have anything to do with y'all, would it?
Well, the first few kegs are for now. The last 12 or so are for the traditional drinking competition later.
Yeah,
Hector, I don't think I've ever had the chance to meet a gatekeeper, but if all your traditions are about drinking, I think you and I are going to get along just fine. What do you say we crack one of these open?
Only about 80% of our traditions have to do with drinking. The other 20 is hitting stuff.
Stuff, not people, though, right?
Both stuff and people. Really.
so, Faustian, where's your date?
Well, Firehide, I have to say that that's a bit of a delicate subject. I can't say as I've been too terribly interested in anyone since Navi. So I came stag, friend. Just me. But I do have the good fortune of being able to lay down the law, so to speak, as far as you and your friends are concerned. Obviously, Shira's busy getting ready. She says hi.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll see her walking down the aisle here pretty soon. But the diviner had a couple of things for y'all to watch out for. apparently y'all are in charge of making sure there's not some sort of big drama at this here function. Not a role I envy, but
Not one we actually completely.
I didn't accept shit. Waiter, and I, I gesture for a wine.
So complicated.
yes, madam.
It's best if we don't speak it aloud. We work best in the shadows.
Yeah, and we just sort of naturally stop bad shit from happening anyways. So, I mean, push comes to shove, bad shit goes down, we're gonna get involved.
You know, if you need a date, Ruger brought too many.
Yeah, that's kind of the point that I was ultimately working towards, is to come on, Faustin, join the crew for the evening. It does, unfortunately, include a shapeshifter, a swamp monster, and I don't know, whatever the hell Hector the gatekeeper is.
Unfortunate? What are you talking about? That's the best.
Well, I was told, I'm delighted by the offer, and I'll probably stick close if it's all the same to you. But I was told to warn you about two potential threats to the peace and prosperity of this little event. I think the wedding itself will go on fine, but there's always problems when you get this many people together drinking. Specifically, Shira's got an aunt named Maria. And apparently, Maria is not real happy about Shira settling down again. And she has a habit of getting a little too liquored up and causing outbursts. So that's her right there. You're going to want to keep an eye on her and just sort of make sure she doesn't start, wildcatting, flipping tables, that sort of thing.
We will slay this Maria.
No, we will
Now,
not.
that's not even close to what I said. Y'all are wild.
No, they are. They claim to pay me to be here.
Faustin points to a woman across the way. You see an elderly human woman with gray hair who is wearing this big, very floofy dress. It's all like pink ruffles, top to bottom. That like swishes very like loud from like 20 feet away. You hear it swishing as she's walking around, but she is wearing a deeply furrowed frown on her face, is looking around very unhappy, and is holding a champagne glass in each hand, and looks like she's getting started. And Faustin says, now the second thing you're gonna have to look out for, apparently there's some bard around here. Well, I say bard. It's just a regular musician. Some fiddler named Nero was hired to work this event, but he had some problematic subject matter in a lot of his songs, so he got let go. Now, they said he could come anyway, as sort of like, maintain the peace, but he might take this as an opportunity to sort of wreck shop, as it were. So you're going to want to look out for him, too. And he points across the way.
We could just have Zerback eat him.
Again, I don't think that's quite what they're looking for, but I literally can't stop any one of you.
Definitely can't.
So there you go. He points to another person, and you see a tall, willowy, high elf man with...
How many scars does he have on his face?
This one, none. He has bright purple hair, and looks like he's wearing eyeliner, and he's got a fiddle case strapped to his back, and he is like anxiously pacing around and just sort of like shaking his head at the band that is setting up by the stairs, by the altar where the wedding's going to happen. It's like, that's all they told me about. Obviously, I guess if some other stuff happens, keep an eye out for it. But those should be the only two problems. As I understand it, y'all are just supposed to keep stuff from getting messy. They don't want a freehold farm wedding. They want a fancy sitting wedding. So we got to keep the monkey shines to a minimum.
Right. I will do my best. I would like 2 large tankards of ale, please. Hector gets 2 large tankards of ale and walks over to the ant with them.
Fantastic. Diffusing already. Great.
Or starting it up early.
Or stirring it up. Yeah.
Hector, you didn't see this coming. Hector, you take 2 large flagons of ale, and you head to Maria. She is berating a serving woman as you get up there. The serving woman looks... she is like red-faced and sweating from running around this party, and Maria is just like tearing into her. I can't believe that you would scuff my gown back in my what do you want?
Aunt Maria, it's good to see you.
She looks you up and down with an almost predatory gaze. I don't know you.
That's because I haven't introduced myself yet. Come, have a drink with me.
He's evolving before our very eyes.
She looks at you speculatively, kind of eyes you up and down, and takes like a half step back, but then she looks at the gigantic fucking tankard of ale you're holding in your offhand, and she's like, well, I could always use a drink. All right. What is your name?
I am Hector, the gatekeeper, eldest son of the gatekeeper clan, and bard extraordinaire of the College of Everspring.
Well, I suppose that's impressive. You know, that is a rather deep V. And she takes one of her fingers and sort of like pokes one of your pecs and says, And she takes one of the beers and drains half that mug in one swig.
Not one to be outdone, Hector chugs his whole tankard.
Well, you can handle your booze, too. You are interesting. You must be one of those protagonists I've heard about.
Hector reaches up and adjusts his headband where he keeps his protagonist badge.
So what is the tactic here? Are you just trying to keep this lady busy?
Yeah, generally try and get her vibe to enjoying herself.
She says, you know, my niece, Shira, is one of the greatest medical professionals that this island has ever known. She's always put her studies first. She is the head of the medical academy here, and I just don't think it's a good idea for her to be settling down. I've known her first partner, and she got rather distracted. This whole thing is just a terrible idea.
Well, I will say I have heard stories of how great your niece is. And I know a thing or two about stories. She has achieved greatness, and she will achieve more greatness. Love is not in opposition of that.
Roll me a diplomacy check.
24.
Damn! Holy shit!
I rolled very high on the dice.
Wow. Maria takes what you say, takes in what you say. She drains the rest of her flagon and says, young man, if you're trying to win me over, you're doing an excellent job. And she loops her arm through yours and says, now buy an old woman another drink and distract me from my annoyance. And she takes her finger and runs it down your pec again.
I wink at Ruger as I escort her over to the bar.
Yeah!
I just shake my head.
You solved my drunk ant puzzle. Nicely done.
Umbrella like rubs her hands together and is like, all right, I gotta do this now. And just walks up to the elf.
Cool.
Not gonna be outdone by Hector.
This is a beautiful moment because Ruger, you just got like instructions, and your homies are just like, "We got you, bro. Let's get this going."
I'm having a drink with my son-in-law, just like I'm actually watching how they defuse the situation to make sure I don't have to defuse their defusal. You know,
Getting the drunk ant drunker was definitely, a risky strategy, but
I'm still not convinced that there's not risk at play. I saw that finger stroke down here, Peck.
I think Hector's traded one public problem for a very intense private problem, and we'll get to that later.
The challenge rating after dark.
Oh my god.
challenge rating 0. Nights.
Nights.
And now,
Well, you had a
a word
cross-
from our sponsors.
Yes, in light of our new side project, Challenge Rating 0, Nights. Please enjoy this word from our sponsor. Hey there, listeners. It's Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I have some exciting news. We here at Challenge Rating 0 have our very first sponsor, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge. Find them on South Grand or at their new location on Cherokee Street. Or, for those of you listeners not living in St. Louis, Missouri, find them at shopapotheosis.com. Voted St. Louis's best comic book store twice over by the Riverfront Times, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge should be your one-stop shop for comics, graphic novels, D&D swag, and more. Not only can you find the latest titles from your favorite superheroes, but you can do so with a cold, locally sourced beer from your favorite St. Louis breweries. That's right. Not only can you find comics and cold beers at Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, but you might also come across yours truly, running one of my favorite role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons. Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, the latest and greatest sponsor of the latest and greatest D&D podcast, Challenge Rating 0. Check them. And we're back. You guys are at the wedding of Shira and the Diviner, while Ruger is getting drinks with his son-in-law Faustin, and Zurabak is drinking on like the next bar stool and staring daggers at a poor sweating merchant. Hector has just taken the problematic Aunt Maria under his wing and is seeing to that problem. Rilla, you stalk across the courtyard where this wedding is being put together through a sea of guests and serving staff. And this bard, Nero, with his purple hair and eyeliner and incredibly tight-fitting, like brightly colored bodysuit, is like lounging against one of the buffet tables and just like loudly scoffing at everything around him. Oh, color schemes. So pedestrian. I can't believe they thought that I wasn't a good fit for this event. This is so passé.
That's quite the accessory there, I say, walking up to him and gesturing at the fiddle on his back. It looks like they already have a band. Why'd you bring that?
It's no big deal. I'm just kind of like a super dope musician, but I guess my work was like a little too advanced for the brides or whatever, so they let me go. But I've got something up my sleeve. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah? Are we going to hear an original song of yours by chance?
I think if everything goes to plan, there won't be any music at this particular function. And he like glances over to the band is setting up.
But I mean, then how could we dance if there's no music?
That's kind of the point. It's called revenge.
Interesting. But if your music's too good for them, why do you care if they have some dinky little band play? Aren't you better than them? Isn't this wedding below you?
I mean, like, yeah, totally. It's like totally below. Like, I don't even care, like, for real.
I mean, it sounds like you care though. If you're bothering with revenge on this like kind of tacky wedding, it seems like maybe you should be out there playing to your own audience. Yeah.
Well, like I super don't like I definitely wouldn't invest like any of my time or energy into like this wedding or anything, setting up an elaborate prank on the band because like I super don't care, and that would mean I did, and that's not cool. So like I definitely didn't do that. Times are just I'm having trouble, like getting a regular like pool of supporters like to get like I haven't found my audience yet, I guess, and so it's been a little tough to just go sort of do my own thing. But like I super don't care. Like I didn't sabotage the band or like anything. Like don't even I don't even know why you'd say that because I don't care.
It really would be a shame if there is no music. I mean, there's all these people here, and if you take that away, then we just have to like stare at each other for the night, like that. And then there's the drinking, and then there's probably going to be the fighting, and then it's just going to get really bad. And someone as delicate and pretty as you is just going to get, who knows what's going to happen to you, right? Like it's probably not going to be a good scene. You probably should just head out,
He looks you up and down. And he's like, I definitely like don't like my music's not really like aggressive, like sort of like physicality is not sort of like part of my aesthetic. So I guess are you saying I'm gonna get like hurt if there's no music? Like
I'm saying that like if something were to happen to this band, and God forbid it did, I might have to do something about that. And while your music's not particularly physical, my lead is. So it's Rilla.
Rilla, roll me a fucking intimidate check as you threaten this part of violence on some gangster shit. In your black cocktail dress with the peacock feathers, you look like fucking Maleficent. Just terrifying.
Okay. I mean, it's not great. I got like a 13.
Let me see.
Modified will save.
Yeah. He has to save against that. Let's see what he got. Wow, that's bad. He says, "Oh, totally. Like I totally get like the, like physical stuff. That's totally not my scene. Maybe you're right. Like this place isn't even like my scene or anything."
Yeah. It seems like maybe you need to go out and find your audience, like now.
For sure, I'll totally do that. It's all chill. It's all the important thing.
How about I walk you out?
Yeah, great. Yeah, great. Sure. Like right. Like right now. Totally
Yeah.
chill.
Yep.
For sure. Totally chill. Let's just do that. I was gonna leave like anyway, so like it's totally cool.
Rilla just hooks an arm through his and starts dragging him away.
Fantastic. You drag this guy out of the party, and he is like stiff with fear as you lead him out. He keeps like looking down at you, like wondering what the fuck you can do to him. And as you get to the outskirts of the party, he stops and he takes the fiddle case off his back and says, so like, just so we're totally clear, like I definitely didn't like sabotage or anything, because that wouldn't be cool and I super don't care, but like you may want to get these to the band. And he opens his fiddle case, and there's like 15 bows in there for like cellos and fiddles. There's an entire chamber orchestra's worth of rosined bows in there that he has apparently stolen from the band, just crammed into his fiddle case. Like, so like I found these, so if you want to get these back to the band, it's like totally chill or whatever. But
I definitely don't want to listen to nothing but pizzicato all night, and I just grab them from him, and I gesture at whoever's like taking cards, like, don't let this dude back in. And I just walk off.
We're cool, right? Like no physical stuff, right? Like we're cool. Just checking we're cool. Are we cool? And you leave them on the outskirts of the party.
And so, since we can all agree that Nero is the best character on this show,
Yeah, fair.
I'm excited to announce that all of this up to now was actually a backdoor pilot for the Nero show, which is going to be what we focus on because Nero's my favorite.
Or does he get his own spin-off?
Yes. This was a backdoor pilot for his spinoff.
Right.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm delighted you think so. I'm a 33-year-old hipster living in St. Louis. I've met 13 Neros in my time in the scene.
Ooh, can we get them all together
Yeah,
and
I
just be
think
themselves?
I think it's the real world experience that you're able to bring to the character that really makes him pop.
So
The fact that his grand evil plot was stealing all the bows from the band.
I know. I figured at least explosives in the drum kit or something.
with a big clock, a big ticking clock to trigger all of it. A big circle bomb. Oh, Christ. Great.
It's
So
the pettiest version of... It's like, got him. Easiest thing to swipe.
So, having diffused the two potential threats that you were tasked with diffusing, you guys are left with a little bit of free time to head back to the bar and grab some drinks.
Firehide, stand 2 steps to your left.
I do that while narrowing my gaze at Zurabek.
Zurbak turns around and then does like a slow turn back, looking over Ruger's at the guy.
All right, Backy, are you up to no good right now, Zurabek?
I'm on a hunt.
Are you gonna eat it at the end?
His scream shall suffice. He has slighted me.
All right. Okay, sure, that I believe. He's probably a real bad dude. About the
He is.
timing on that
He
scream.
talks to evil-looking ones with scars on their face.
Wait, what?
Yes,
Wait, what?
I am hunting him.
Wait, the guy with the scars? Because that'd be really weird.
No,
The coincidence there.
the weak-willed one, he talked to them. He had fear in his heart. More fear than he has for me.
Zurabak, I'm going to ask you something, and it's the most important thing I've ever asked you. Where did the scarred man go?
He is not my prey. I do not know.
Where did you last see him?
Turn around and look at the one with the most fear. He knows.
You all turn and immediately see a what is now a dwarf-shaped globule of sweat, wearing a soaking wetsuit, vainly wiping his brow with a soaked cloth, and staring at Zurabak every other second and just shivering. He's trying to pretend like he's talking to 2 other merchants, but
I wave.
yeah, you just see his...
just a little fucking. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is not a visual medium. I waved for the audience.
So yeah, Faustin says, so that poor merchant there talked to a guy with a scar on his face. Why do y'all care about that?
He had more fear in his eyes than now.
Oh, okay.
Am I back at this bar yet?
Yeah, you're all back for sure.
I lean over. Let's see, who would be the most mature of us? I guess it's Ruger.
By a wide margin, thank you. By a wide margin. Wide.
Sometimes I wonder about Zurbak's mating rituals. Not in a weird way,
Okay.
but like how, like if he's hunting a man, but he doesn't want to kill him.
Okay, see, this
Like,
is really. I don't know if
He
I
slighted Snake. He will pay.
How did he slight your stupid snake?
He stepped on him.
I mean, to be fair, Snake's the size of like 8 horses or some shit. It's a big guy.
You know, I feel like we get a little skewed, like being as close as we are to Zurabak as to what anything about him like is or means. Maria, you're an outside observer. What do you think of Zurabak hunting a man?
Also, hi, Maria.
Ruger.
Maria.
What a joyous day.
Maria stares straight into your eyes, Hector, and says, frankly, Hector, I don't think Zurabak's the only one doing some manhunting this afternoon. And she looks at you over, she takes a long drink out of her flagon and looks at you over the rim of it.
That's the Maria.
Cocks an eyebrow.
Hector
There's the Aunt
Hector
Maria.
just continues smiling and turns and looks away and just says, huh.
And with that, you hear the clear ringing of horns play out across this courtyard as all of the preparations are complete. A loud voice that has become very familiar to you. The booming voice of Captain Kurz of the Order of the Quill, who is standing on one of the steps in front of the Diviner's Tower, rings out, "Honored guests of this most auspicious occasion, please take your seats as the nuptials will continue presently." And everyone starts scrambling for some chairs. Faustin says, now, we got some of the best seats in the house. Was able to secure them for us. Me and Shira still talk, and she was actually pretty happy to hear you were coming to this thing, Ruger. So why don't we go ahead and mosey on over and grab ourselves a sit down and hope this all goes off without a hitch.
Zurabak goes sits behind his prey.
I fire back one last shot at the bar before I go. I just put one last one back.
Fantastic. Yeah. Ruger puts one shot down and goes over. Zurabak, you go over to where Thaddeus, this merchant, is sitting, and you do just sit on a person for a second. Like, you're so locked on Thaddeus that you find a chair behind him, and there's a person sitting there already, and they're like, "My word!" And they get up and scamper up to another chair.
Hector follows with his eyes the Zurabak's prey because he wants to see who the guy sits next to.
The gentleman that the people that Thaddeus is sitting next to, none of them have scars on their faces.
Okay, then I am uninterested in anything you have to say about them anymore.
Fantastic. Rilla and Hector, do you sit next to your good friend Firehide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hired help.
Unless Aunt Maria wants me to come sit with her in like the family section, which I am okay with.
She does. Yeah, she does. You go over to sit with your friends, and Marie just drags you over to where she's sitting like a row back. Because she gets sloppy, so she can't have front row seats. But yeah, she's sitting like a row back, so you're like behind your friends. She gets a little sloppy.
I nudge Rilla and I'm like, Hector's done for. Put a stake in him.
Yeah, Ruger, Maria, this is gonna end. Probably gonna end only so many ways. So yeah, as you all find your seats, there is a hush over the crowd, and the band, the small chamber orchestra that is set up by the stairs, starts playing a beautiful lilting tune that marks the beginning of these ceremonies, that is only broken occasionally by the horrific shrieking of the birds that Rilla brought. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And as the music swells, the diviner, dressed in a bright blue, like robin's egg blue suit, with a neat short jacket, and very tall, like thigh-high boots with rolled down into broad cuffs with silver work just all over it. Lovely silver brocade up and down the vest. They stand underneath this archway, just beaming, absolutely ecstatic, looking over the crowd. You do, Ruger, see for just 1 second a small blue orb drift down one of these prying eyes that the diviner uses to spy on everything, and it sweeps in front of you for just a second as if it's regarding you, and then it retreats and goes and rests atop the diviner's...
I wave.
Yeah, give it a little wave. It goes and retreats to sort of hover atop the diviner's head as her eyes are covered with a beautiful blue cloth. Since she is, blind. I don't know if we all remember that about the diviner. I figured I'd just do that. So it looks like she's seeing through this tiny prying eye, the only magic she's been allowed on this special day. And after a few minutes, the music changes in pitch and tenor, and everyone turns around to look. And Ruger, for the first time in years, you see Shira. She is absolutely radiant in a white gown covered in pearls, with small blue sapphires bunched up to look like roses in blue and white all up and down her dress. She is holding a bouquet of blue and white roses as she walks down the aisle to this swelling orchestral music, and the entire crowd watches her as she makes her way.
I, under my breath, say, Narrativa B. And I take my hat off and, hold it to my, hold it to my chest, catching my breath for a second.
Yeah, she has her curly brown hair is done up under a net that is covered with pearls and sapphires. And Rilla, Hector, and Zurabak, you see for the first time the woman that Ruger used to be married to, the mother of his daughter, Navi. And she is, this tall, confident human woman with big brown eyes that seem like they're rimming with tears of joy as she makes her way down the aisle. She's looking at everyone and giving small polite waves to people as she makes her way down, her long train flowing behind her. And eventually she all passes you. Ruger, she does give you a very short but meaningful look. You guys make eye contact, and she gives you the curtest of nods. And one of those tears of joy spills down the side of her face, and she quickly brushes it aside.
I hit her with a patented Ruger Firehide wink. I just hit her with old reliable. I keep the finger guns away.
Is that the one where you tip your hat real low till they can just barely see your eyes, and then you just give the barest a wink?
Yep. There's probably a little sparkle glint,
Oh, for sure. Yeah. She gives you a wry smile that you've seen 1,000 times over all the time you've known her, in times of strife and, in times of joy, which I assume hits you pretty hard.
Triggering.
And then she continues up those stone steps to stand beside the diviner, and walking out of the large wooden doors leading to the diviner's tower, out of those doors and into the archway between Shira and the diviner, stands the Hierophant, the leader of the Church of Protos here in Everspring. As Shira takes her place on top of the stone stairs under this archway of blue and white roses, a familiar form steps out of the tower itself to place themselves between Shira and the diviner. You see the Hierophant, Greta Grimsbane, the high priestess of Protos. 14-year-old girl looking very uncomfortable in the incredibly elaborate gold robes that have been draped across her shoulders. She seems like she was just thoroughly scrubbed clean from whatever adventure she was getting into. She still has her sword, this incredibly well-crafted sword belted on her hip, and she seems very disappointed that she can't use it. But she seems to be the officiant for this occasion. And she clears her throat, looking up at the two adults on either side of her, and says, "Honored guests, we are gathered here for a most blessed day. Like the gods themselves, we here in the world weave stories of our own. Those stories touch the stories of everyone else around us. And on some rare, blessed moments, two stories become one. The two women in front of me today have decided to declare in front of everyone that they are only for each other. They shall walk beside each other and tell one great tale instead of two. Let us all join in their glorious day. Let us all come together as one body and recognize in all of our hearts that on this day, Shira and the diviner are joined in the bonds of matrimony. The Hierophant gives like a deep sigh and says, she like looks over to Shira's like, I got that right, yeah? And Shira's like, yeah, you got it right. And the Hierophant says, oh, thank goodness. I think that's about all I got out of me. You're married! Yay! The Hierophant like claps her hands. The whole crowd starts applauding.
Hector is sobbing.
And Shira looking a little embarrassed, and the diviner share a kiss, and then turn to look out over the assembled crowd and wave, and a wave of applause rolls over the entire courtyard as everyone celebrates their union. They walk down the stairs, down the aisle that Shira just walked up, hand in hand, and make their way to a small raised wooden dais on the opposite side of the courtyard that has a long table set on it. And they walk up the stairs and sit down, and Shira says, all right, now that's enough of all that fancy schmancy stuff. Let's get some drinks and some food in these people's faces. Come on now. And everyone laughs, and the party starts going. The chamber orchestra at the side of the courtyard starts playing a lively jig, and a army of serving staff heads out into the crowd of guests and starts plying everyone with food and drink.
I want one of them shrimps. The cocktail kind. Yeah, those, right.
Sir, you can have as many as you want. Please calm down.
It's just that they let us all be a part of their story today.
I like a man that's sensitive. This is getting better every second. So you all, what you guys get to partying, have some drinks, do a little dancing. There is a dance floor set up in front of this orchestra, and there's plenty of food and drink going on.
I asked Rilla to dance.
Rilla,
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. You guys hit the floor and start fucking boogieing. Maria drags Hector bodily onto the dance floor, and you guys join. You guys are like the first ones to get out there, and then everyone else like, oh fuck yeah, dance! And they all search onto the dance floor as well. You guys take a spin.
Ooh.
Everyone roll.
Ooh. I also have a question. During line dancing time, I want to drag Faustin out. I assume, because Shira's here, that it's going to be line dancing at some point. I'm going to...
Absolutely. There is the Miosha equivalent of boot scoot and boogieing going on like half the fucking time, for sure. You guys do some dancing, do some drinking, have a great time. Shira and the diviner are up at their table, and there's a solid line of people moving past them to say hi and give their well wishes. Ruger Faustin seems surprisingly drunk. He seemed to get surprisingly drunk in a surprisingly short amount of time. You see him do like several shots very, very quickly at the bar. You guys... you bring him onto the dance floor for some line dance, and he seems a little shaky. And when you're done with the last dance, he like grabs your arm and takes you over to the side. It says, "Listen, Ruger, I got something I gotta tell you. It's pretty serious. I gotta tell you in private. Can you come over here? I'm sorry, I had a lot to drink. I just need to. I gotta talk to you."
All right, buddy. Let's. Yeah, there's right over there that booth.
No, actually, I got a spot picked out over here. Come on. And he takes you by the arm and takes you across the party to a large series of tents that all the serving staff and caterers seem to be working out of.
Okay.
He takes you into one particularly large tent. None of the caterers seem to notice you. They're all so busy scrambling at their tasks that none of them even turn an eye to look at you all. And he goes to the back of one tent in particular and lifts up a flap leading to a dark room with several large men in it.
Yep.
You see 4 tall, broad-shouldered men with blunt noses and, heavy knuckles. And they're all standing around a horrifically familiar face. You see a short man with broad shoulders and a thick neck with a scar running down the side of his face. And you hear a voice you haven't heard in years say, "Ah, there he is, the man of the hour. How you doing, Firehide? What, you don't remember your old friend Jarmax?"
Oh, I recall. Jarmax. And what are you doing here?
Faustin says, "I'm sorry, Ruger. He said he'd do some bad stuff if I didn't." And Jarmax says, "All right, that's enough out of the flunky. Boys, take him outside. Make sure he doesn't say anything." And 2 guys grab Faustin and hustle him out of the tent.
You understand if you hurt that boy, I will skin you alive, right?
"I'm surprised to hear that kind of talk out of your mouth, Firehide. You were always the golden boy. Of course, maybe that's back when I knew you. Listen, you and I need to have a brief conversation about the terms of what's going on today, about the trap you just walked into, all right? I happen to run this catering company, okay? And I'm using it to get my due. We have some scores to settle, me and you, between us, from what happened back in Sandstone. Let me give you the rundown. Boys, show them. All these caterers roll up one of the sleeves of their white coats, and they've all got these leather bracers on underneath them, and they all pull out from these bracers these very thin, long daggers that seem to be gleaming with sticky green substance. Now listen, Firehide, every single servant out there, every single caterer works for me. I've spent the time since you ruined my life building up a new business here, and I'm not going to let you roll into town and just play big shot, all right, without settling the score between us. Every single one of these servers, every single caterer out there, the guys pouring drinks, the girls serving the shrimp cocktails you love so much, they've all got these knives on them. Every one of those knives is laced with the most toxic venom I could find. If you give me any trouble whatsoever, if you do anything that I don't like, if you don't follow every single one of my commands from this point forward, the signal goes up, and I swear to the gods that made you, Firehide, the bride's gonna be wearing red instead of white. I don't think my boys will get everyone, but they'll get enough people to ruin your life. I promise you that. You and I are going to take a little walk. You're not going to say shit to anyone. You're not going to try to get away, or it's going to get real bad for your friends and for your ex. You understand?
I slowly, show my hand, and I slowly reach into my satchel and pull out one of my rolled cigarettes and say to him, "All right, Jarmax, lead the way."
That's what I like to hear. You're going to love this, Firehide. It'll be like the old days, chatting around the fire. It's going to be great. He snaps his fingers. Boys, let's go. And his 2 remaining goons grab you under each arm, roughly, and Jarmax turns around out of a flap in the back of the tent, and you are led after him. You go about a block away from the courtyard and the loud sounds of the party. It's still perfectly audible from this distance, but there is a building that seems to be empty. It looks like some sort of trading house that is currently not being used, and you are led to a trap door that is, not like a trap door. You're led to a cellar door on the back of the house that leads directly into a basement. Jarmax's goons throw the doors open, lead you roughly inside, and you are in a bare stone chamber. There is a large chest set against one wall, a couple of rusty iron sconces on opposing walls have lit torches in them that shed a dim light in this room, and there is a single chair in the center of this room with iron manacles all over it. Sit down, Firehide.
I take a seat.
Jarmax snaps his fingers again, and his goons pull out or take these manacles and manacle your arms behind your back, manacle your legs to the chair and to each other, and wrap a couple chains around your chest for good measure. They take your weapons and any of your magical items off you, leaving you in just your fancy outfit. And they take them over and pile them up by the chest in the room. Jarmax stands in front of you and says, "Oh, that went perfectly. I gotta say, I love nothing more than a good plan coming together. It's really satisfying when you see the fruits of your labor really get ripe for harvest. I think, considering we're in this particular town, it's time for a story. Wouldn't you say, Firehide? Once upon a time, there was a town called Sandstone. In this town, there was a sheriff named Jarmax, and Jarmax knew how things worked. He wasn't some pie-eyed, naive goon that thought he could just get rid of all the bad people and all the bad things they do. Jarmax had that town under control. Jarmax knew where everybody was buried. Jarmax knew when every score was going down, and Jarmax got a taste. Jarmax kept the civilized, wealthy people from having to see the bums on the street, and he kept the criminal element fat and happy enough not to cause too much trouble. But then, who should wander into Jarmax's town? A cowboy with a couple of axes. Some golden boy apparently born here, returned from his life on the road. Ruger, Firehide, wanders in to Jarmax's town and decides he wants to be sheriff too. What is Jarmax to do in this scenario? Of course, he's going to take in the golden boy. Everyone's so excited to see him come home. And they get down to business, except Ruger doesn't know how things work. Ruger can't let anything go. Ruger wants to go where the bodies are buried, dig them up, and make problems for everybody. You son of a bitch. When you came into my town and you turned the people against me, I may have sent you away. I may have beaten you bloody and kicked you out of my town. But from the day you tried to remove me from office, every single one of those leeches was dead set against getting me out. Even after I sent you limping out of Sandstone. All the citizens there decided they'd had enough of old Jarmax. They dragged me out of my house. They took all my money. They put me in jail for 5 years. 5 years of my life, Firehide. Gone. The money, the contacts. If I didn't have 1 or 2 goons left to break me out of jail, I'd still be rotting in that cell.
Well, Jarmax, if I had it my way, you'd have met the hangman's noose. How many of those bodies you were so scared of me digging up did you put there in the first place? Don't pretend like you were some saintly being by any means. You're a bad dude, Jarmax. You done a lot of terrible things. I'm not some golden child who rolled in. I'm just the guy who came into a city on its knees, begging for you to let it live. You choked that city with crime, and I'm glad to hear they chased you out with pitchforks. I'm just sad to say I wasn't there that day. You got what was coming to you, Jarmax. Same as we all do.
I love the way you phrase that, Firehide. I got what was coming to me. You hear that, Rocco? I got what was coming to me. Same as we all do, right? Right, boss. Same as we all do. Same as we all do. Well said, Firehide. Now, what does a man in your position have coming to you? What is a man that's lived your life, that's fucked with the plans of so many people, so many ambitious businessmen like your old buddy Jarmax? What do you have coming to you? Well, I got an answer for that question.
Is it a stiff drink and a soft mattress?
You took everything from me. I had that whole town under my thumb. Everything was going like clockwork. I lost my home, my money, my power, my freedom, my life. Now I'm gonna take everything from you. Congratulations, Firehide. All you earned in getting me thrown out of Sandstone was your own ruin. I got a couple things to show you. Rocco, get the trunk. Right, boss. I'll get the trunk. This huge, 7 foot tall half orc wanders over to the chest against the wall, picks it up tucked under one arm, and brings it beside Jarmax as he stands in front of you. I took the liberty of having some of my guys sweep your rooms and the stables where they keep your horse. You'll notice all your worldly possessions. He opens the trunk, and every spare outfit you have, every bit of money you still had to your person, every weapon, every magical item, like an old pocket knife your fucking granddad gave you, every one of your earthly possessions is piled up in this chest. This is the first step. Every single thing you own, I'm gonna burn. I'm gonna burn it all while you watch. That's the first step. Rocco, get this fucking monkey suit off him. We're gonna burn that too. Right, boss. And Rocco gets a fucking dagger out and just cuts this Lambstrand original off of you while you're strapped to this chair, roughly rips this cloth off you and throws it on top of the pile. Jarmax takes a flask of oil from under his coat and pours it over all of your earthly possessions. Everything you had in your saddlebags, everything in your room, everything you possess. And he pats himself down. Damn, I'm missing a match. Oh, wait a minute. And then he reaches into the pocket of the coat that he just tore off of you and pulls out one of your matches. This will do nicely. He reaches over and strikes it on your cheek, and then places it into this chest, which goes up like a bonfire. So that's step one. How does that feel, Firehide? Everything you own, every possession you lay claim to, gone up in a puff of smoke. How's that feel?
Feels like familiar. In more ways than one, Jarmax.
Familiar. You hear that, Rocco? He says it sounds familiar. Yeah, boss. Familiar. Shut up, Rocco. Now, that's an excellent choice of words, Ruga. An excellent choice of words. That's precisely what we're getting at. Familiar. What does that remind you of? Maybe the worst day of your life. When you came to Sandstone, you already had those scars. You already had that reputation. You know what the problem is with men like you, Firehide? You think that since you've seen tragedy, you've lived the worst day you're ever gonna live, right? You think that since something bad happened to you, that you'll never see something worse for as long as you live. I'm here to show you that's not the case. There's always lower to go, Firehide. There's always more to lose. I had some of my boys do some digging when I got out of the pen. I had some of them take a trip to a town called Grimm's Hollow. Heard you used to work there. They found a few interesting things. A burned down church, some empty houses, a beautiful willow tree up on a hill, sort of overlooking the whole town. And you know what they found there? A couple of graves. Interesting. Why would someone bury specifically 2 people that far away from the town? And then I heard some rumors. Oh, Firehide lost something terrible in Grimm's Hollow. Firehide lost his one and only kid. Now, Firehide, I'm a businessman, all right? I'm a person just like anyone, and I am ambitious. Some might even say vengeful, but I'm not a monster, all right? I can appreciate the depth of that loss, all right? No one should ever have to lose a kid. It's a fate worse than death. The problem with our situation is that I owe you the destruction of everything you hold dear. So what is a creative mind like mine supposed to do with this information? How can I get you even farther down than you've already fallen? Well, my boys did some digging. Now, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of yourself. We didn't do anything untoward. But we did find something that I think you might find familiar. Rocco, get it. And Rocco goes over to a cloth-wrapped bundle in the corner of the room that you hadn't noticed before. It was obscured by shadow. And Rocco walks over and hands this cloth bundle to Jarmax. And Jarmax says, "This is, I think, the point I'm trying to make. There's always more to lose, Firehide." And he uncovers this cloth bundle, and you see a bone-white longbow. Still dirtied with the grave dirt that it was buried under. Your daughter's bow. And he hefts it in his hands. This is, this was quite the find.
I do that thing where, like, in a split second, I try to, like, jump up from the chair, and the chains have to hold me back. Like, I fucking snarl and foam at the mouth as I, like, lunge towards him.
Roll me a strength check. Let's see.
Not so great. That's a 9.
You are so filled with rage that your body's shaking. You, like, don't have control of your muscles. You strain, like, chaotically spasming. You, like, almost knock your chair half over as you strain, but you just can't break through the metal of these bonds. And as Jarmax stands before you next to the blazing fire of all your possessions, he says, "Now that's what I was looking for, Firehide. That exactly is what I was feeling when I got thrown in that dark cell for 5 years. Now, what I'm going to do with this bow is what I did to all of your otherworldly possessions. It's going in the fire, okay? And I want to be absolutely clear with what's going to happen after I put it in the fire, all right? After we both watch this bow burn to ash, I'm going to have my boys let you go. They're going to unlock your manacles, and they're going to let you walk out of here. Here's the rub. You can make 2 choices after that. It's entirely up to you. You can leave here without touching a fucking hair on my head. If you do that, everyone at that wedding you were just at is going to get away fine. My people are going to finish serving the hors d'oeuvres. They're going to replace the champagne glasses. They're going to get paid, and they're going to go home, and everyone's going to enjoy the wedding. You're going to hear stories about the social event of the season for months. If you let me go. Now, if you do what any sane person would do and get up out of that chair and beat me to death with your bare hands, my boys aren't going to get the signal. And if my boys don't get the signal, that party's gonna be a fucking bloodbath. Now, you and your friends are powerful. I'm sure you can take out as many goons with poison knives as you possibly can. You might even get half or most of them. But enough people are gonna get hurt, enough people you care about are gonna get hurt, that I doubt your reputation or the opinion of you in this town is gonna go up very much. If you let me go, you've lost your chance for revenge. If you come at me, you lose your ex-wife. Either way, Firehide, you lose. And he throws the bow into the chest. And unfortunately, that is where we end. Hello and welcome to As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast, where we take a deep dive into our player characters' frustrations, motivations, characterizations, and try to get a better understanding of them as people. In this part of the show, we'd like to ask each of our player characters a question and see if we can't unearth some deeper truths about them. The question for today is, describe your perfect day from start to finish. All of our player characters reflect different backgrounds and different regions of Meosha. They have their own customs, their own traditions, and each of them, I'm sure, has different tastes. I'm curious what the perfect day for all of our player characters is. Is it peaceful? Is it chaotic? Is it spent stalking your enemies or making amends? I'm very curious to get into this one and see what it reveals. And first up, we have Rilla Longshadow. Rilla, welcome to the studio. Always good to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing great, host. She says as she does a flip and rollerblades. Everyone got into doing skateboard tricks, man. They forgot I started this shit, so now I have to start something new.
Okay. Well, I see Rilla, always the rebel, always the trendsetter. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the studio is now home to a half pipe that has been built in it. But yeah, I mean, you're killing on those rollerblades. Those are some sick moves. I'm sure I'm sure it won't be but a week before everyone else is just jocking your style once again. Yeah, nice moves. The question, Rilla, for today is, what is your perfect day? Start to finish, what is a perfect day for Rilla Longshadow? And, take that question, I guess, as broadly as you'd like. It's a bit of an open one. But yeah, what does a perfect day for Rilla Longshadow look like?
So, okay, this is a lot. Well, it's hard because most people would start with sleep, right? But I would I would come to from my meditation with Rutherford cuddled up in my lap, purring.
Delightful.
A nice cozy pillow. And I think that I would look out my window to see the most beautiful spring day in the forest. And my village would be empty, except for a small caravan holding my companions. And I would hear Dara fucking around upstairs doing something stupid, I'm sure. But it would be quiet and safe, and there would be no tension. I've never known my home without that. I think that would be the mood. And I would take Dara out for a hunt and no one would stop us. And we could banter and joke around and not have to worry about getting back home before anyone catches us. And I think we would bring my friends deer and serve it in a traditional manner. And I think that we would end the day by paying our respects to our parents before I pack her back up and we leave the forest forever. I think that'd be my perfect day.
Wow, that is an incredible and very revealing answer. That sounds like a lovely day for sure. Spending some time with your sister and the silence and security of your village without anyone in it. I am very curious. The tension. That's never something I suppose I've ever thought about, but the feeling constant unease in your home is something that it can't ever be easy to navigate and has to have some real lasting repercussions. Very, very interesting and quite a lovely picture you've painted there. Really, thank you very much for that answer. I appreciate it, and I know our listeners certainly did.
Now watch this. And she goes off and does like some really cool trick. Except she falls halfway through and then pretends she did it.
Oh my good. Oh, that's Rilla. That's a Sharon. Sharon, get the first aid kit. We got a little scrapey. Got a little knee scrape.
It was on purpose. That was on purpose. That's part of the trick.
Great. I mean, yeah, the scrape 360 for sure. That's we all know. Sharon, you've heard of the scrape 360? Yeah, Sharon's nodding. Yeah, it's a great trick.
The scrape knee 60. Thank you.
Forgive me, Hector. I didn't see you there. I guess you're an expert on rollerblading too. Rilla, have Sharon patch up. Hector, I guess you're next. Pleasure to see you as always. How you doing?
Chill. Hector rounds the corner. He's holding his skateboard over his shoulder and he's wearing a tank top that says "Boards Not Blades."
Hector, that's quite a tank top you got there. Looks very stylish. I am curious about the sort of like, tribalism inherent. I'm sure everyone can enjoy the half pipe equally, but just grab a seat.
Yeah, no, it's just support for a superior artistic form.
Right. Well, artistic form. Hector, I didn't realize you were so into skateboarding culture already. Do you know how to do a trick?
Yeah, I know all of them.
Wow.
I learned them.
That's impressive. Well, then I won't even bother to ask you to demonstrate them since you're obviously such a master. Let's get down to brass tacks here, Hector. The question for today is, what is a perfect day? What is a perfect day for Hector the Gatekeeper, top to bottom?
I mean, presently a perfect day. I just shred all day and security guards wouldn't hassle me, but
fucking tight, bro. Sick, right? I feel you, dog. Totally. Fuck yeah, bro. Like, it's like, get out of here, right? Like, I'm just living,
Nah, bro, I feel like the conceit of this show is that we're answering these questions from before we existed in this metatextual space, So, I guess I'd probably have to say that my perfect day, I would wake up with the sun in my eyes, surrounded by friends and family. We would be in some new exotic location that I'd never experienced before. We would engage together in some grand adventure. The specifics don't matter. Vampire lord in his castle, sure. Dragon, yeah. Some grand adventure. And afterward, that night, we would celebrate. We would sit around a table and we would drink and we would retell the story of the thing we had just done. And you would listen as the drinks got heavier and the night got longer, as that story changed into something almost entirely different from what actually happened until we all just passed out. That would be the perfect day.
Hector, that sounds incredible. That is quite the experience. It has been a long time since you've been able to tell stories with any of the other gatekeepers. I think it's been quite a long time since you've seen a gatekeeper. I can understand how getting back to your family and your people and sharing an experience like that would absolutely be a perfect day. That's an incredible answer. It's funny on these. I feel almost like I don't have a lot of follow up. I'm just really enjoying the the pictures you're all painting. But yeah, thank you very much for that answer, Hector. That's lovely. We certainly appreciate it.
Gnarly.
All right. Anyway, next up we've got Ruger Firehide, lawman extraordinaire, Mr. Firehide. Welcome back to the studio. How are you?
I skateboard up, like, doing some little tight little S jigs as I make my way up. Just really feeling I'm actually on a longboard, as it turns out.
Oh, I was gonna ask if one of you had a longboard. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude.
How's it hanging, host?
It's hanging. Good. I never really know how to answer that question. It's hanging well, I suppose.
It's hanging like I wish I was, in the air above that beautiful half pipe that we, just meticulously crafted into the large part of your studio.
Mr. Firehide, I have to say, like, as soon as you're done answering my question today, you can go get as much air as you possibly can get. But we have work to do. This is still sometimes, for the most part, a place of business. The question for today, Mr. Firehide, could you get off the longboard and just sit down for like a second, please?
But host, it's at this point I'm basically one with the board.
Great. Why don't you? Can you sit on the longboard? Is that a compromise?
Yeah, but only if I'm allowed to like sit cross-legged, kind of like I'm meditating.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know any other way to sit on a longboard, I think. Okay, great. So thank you for that. The question today, Ruger Firehide, is what is a perfect day for you? What is Ruger Firehide's perfect day?
Well, host, I think today I'm going to go ahead and give you my more lighthearted answer to this here question, because there's a lot of facets. I don't know if you noticed, but that question is a little open-ended, a lot of ways to be interpreted. It's fine.
Interpret it in any way you'd like.
In this instance, I'm going to choose to chart the lighthearted path. So, Ruger Firehide would like to wake up, it's kind of a lightly chilly morning, maybe early autumn. Have some nice cooked meat, venison perhaps. Definitely some stiff dark coffee to really get the day going. It's a rainy day, right? Rainy, kind of wet, mossy. And after breakfast, hit the road. Me and Cole. And, just mosey on down a misty backwoods road. Nowhere to be. Coming from nowhere. Going nowhere. Definitely hunting nobody. Focusing on just mileage, just covering ground.
That is a lovely minimalist picture of what a perfect day can be. There is a piece to that that I find striking. No goal, no destination. It does strike me that in this perfect day there are no responsibilities, no calls on you to do or be anything, and I think that's very telling for a man of strongly held principles like yourself.
Host, I'll also say that, I was pretty much, besides a little spell in my youth, pretty much spent most of my time on the road. I was raised on the road, right? And it's always called to me. Cities bring noise and crime and violence and, urine. But roads, wide open country, different kind of solace.
That sounds lovely, Ruger. We certainly appreciate your candor. That's an excellent answer to this question. I'm finding that everyone's perfect day is sounds remarkably pleasant, even for a third party that isn't you. Those all sound like a very good time in different ways. Thank you very much for your answer, Ruger. And
host, one last thing. Just to be clear, I know there's some storm clouds brewing. Let it be known that whether it be board or blade, I think there's always a place on the half pipe for you. Okay?
That's Ruger, that's so touching. Thank you so much. Wow. That's really going to stick with me. All right, next up, we've got King of the Shocker Lizards, Champion of the Goats, Emperor of the Rats, and Duke of the Isle of Neho, Zurabak the Unburned. Zurabak, how are you today?
Oh, fine. Snake and his little skateboard gang's getting kind of out of hand. I had to punch a tiger named Tony the other day. The hawk's fine. You know, he does hawk things. But that tiger, keeps trying to say everything's great. No, it's not great.
Now, Zurabak, that is, I was curious why there were so many animals in the studio. When I came in this morning, they were just sort of lounging menacingly outside the door. I was surprised that they had skateboards. I just assumed they were rooting them out of the garbage. Are you telling me that is Snake's skateboard gang?
Yeah. He's a leader.
Yeah. There's a tiger and a hawk. Is that a possum? Is that a skunk? What the fuck, Zurabak? That can't be good for the half pipe.
I don't know. Not my problem.
I guess. Man,
But if that tiger comes near me again, he's gonna regret.
Well, let's hope that doesn't, let's hope you don't have to catch a tiger by the tail.
I won't let him go if he hollers.
Anyway, the question for today, Zurabak, is what is a perfect day in the life of Zurabak?
That's a dumb question. Every day being Zurabak is a perfect day.
Oh, no, that's very interesting.
No, it's not. I'm great.
So every day in your existence is perfect.
Yes.
Well, what if you don't find food on a given day? What if there's a bunch of people talking to you? What if you fall into a river and accidentally get clean for 2 seconds?
Am I still Zurabak? Yes. Yes, I am. It's a perfect day.
Okay, so now I'm curious, let's flip it. Is there potentially a bad day for Zurabak?
No, because I'm never not Zurabak. You're not seeing I think you need your medication. Have you taken your medication lately?
I mean, I asked Sharon to bring me my pills. They haven't. Oh, thanks, Sharon. I appreciate it. Sharon, I need water for the pills. Sharon, I can't take them dry.
You'll take them dry, and you like it.
Fine, Zurabak. Fine. Good. Oh God, I can taste them. You can taste. Anyway, so just every day in your existence is perfect.
Yep.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. You are so enamored with your own perfection that there is nothing that could occur that would make a day bad for you, because no matter what happens, you are Zurabak, period.
This is correct.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I've come to understand your personal philosophy. I feel like we learn a lot every time you come to the studio, but it's just a lot of the same thing, which is that you are your own God and that you only worship yourself and you are supreme above all things.
Until proven otherwise.
Fantastic.
Which will never happen. As he just glares a tiger out of the corner of his eye.
The tiger visibly withers at your gaze. Right behind the tiger, Snake does a fucking 1280 fucking backflip on this half pipe. It's fucking incredible. Well, Zurabak, I certainly appreciate that answer. I'll try to keep that in mind for future questions. Well, I have to say, this has been a very eye-opening edition of our little program. We certainly thank you all for coming out. Until next time, keep those dice turning.
Oh, and I think they wanted one of them loop-de-loop things built in.
I don't know if we have.
You've got that in the budget, right?
I don't know if we have the space for a loop-de-loop, but yeah. I mean, it's.
Just knock out that wall. Go into the parking lot.
But I like that. Well, keep those dice turning.
Hey there, dear listeners. Sam, the DM here, checking in with the credits at the end of the show. Challenge Rating Zero is edited by Audius Prime, aka Matt Sims. You can contact him at audiusprime.com. Music for Challenge Rating Zero is provided by the dreaded harp wolf Danielle Taylor Williams. You can find more of her work at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com. She has an album available called Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change? You should check it out, it's a real banger. Additional music is provided by Justin Raw. You can find more of his work at justinraw.com, including his album Age of the Spirit. If you'd like to reach out to us here at Challenge Rating Zero, we're on all the social medias. You can reach us on Facebook at Challenge Rating Zero, on Instagram at Challenge Rating Zero. You can find us on Twitter at Challenge_ZERO. We also have an email, challengeratingzero@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to us if you'd like to submit any questions for our As the Dice Turn segment. Any questions we receive will be read on the air. We want to give special thanks to our sponsor, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge. Go to shopapotheosis.com to see what dope stuff they have in their inventory. And make sure to check out one of their 2 locations in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri on South Grand and on Jefferson. That is shopapotheosis.com. Thank you very much. If you'd like to support us here at the show, we do have a Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/CR_0. We've got some bonus content there for those who are kind enough to throw us a little cheddar. And if you can't support us fungibly, we just ask that you like, share, subscribe, recommend our show to some friends of yours. Leave us a review, that helps a whole lot. If any of our dear listeners out there wouldn't mind heading to your podcast app of choice and leaving a review for our little show, that is a big help. Thank you all so much for listening to our program. The next episode will be out in 2 weeks. That is going to be June 6th. So look forward to that. And bye.